Hi, my name is Corinne Malcolm. I'm joined by your favorite on-course correspondent, Leah Yingling.
Hi, guys.
Yeah, we are joined with two of our three women from the podium today. Keely Henninger, who won the race in course record fashion, had a plane to catch, which we've decided is like the random baller move of the day because you had to run really fast to make that flight.
Shots and saying like I need to finish by this time because I got a plane.
I heard it was much cheaper though to fly tonight, so that was the move she made. But we're joined by second and third place women from today: Heather Jackson and Meg Morgan. Yay!
Yay!
Where do we want to start?
Oh man, I'm so curious to hear about both of your days. Heather, you're already into Western States through a Hoka spot, but I could tell you really wanted to fight and like earn your way to Western States. So I think you've got a great story. Your first trail race was Javelina 100 in the fall. Now you came back to Black Canyon with your second trail race. Tell us a little bit about your day and the journey you went through.
Yeah. Oh my goodness. Yeah. I feel so grateful. I mean, I've been partnered with Hoka for 8 years now, and mostly in triathlon. And now I had expressed my interest in trail running and told them I'd be at Javelina in the fall. And yeah, that one 100 miles, I think went out a little fast at that one. So I came in today excited about the 100K distance and to see, what I could do here, I guess, on 62 miles. And I guess I wasn't thinking of it as 62. It was more for me about the time frame as an Ironman, which is what I've been racing for 15 years. So I'm like, okay, I'm used to 8-9 hours. If I could do that fully running would be amazing. So yeah, it was, I think now my second race here, it was way different than Javelina. So I walked away from Javelina like, okay, I really got to work on the, I got to work on the downhill because it really beats your quads up. And I'll get on some dirt. And I've been running dirt roads in Tucson, but I got here and I'm like, oh God, this is completely different. Like the technical with the rocky. I did confirm with Keely when we were running. I'm like, do trail runners consider this course technical? Or am I just like, or am I like really in trouble right now?
Did she confirm that
she
it is
said
indeed
this
technical?
Is considered technical. So made me feel a little better. Yeah.
You're like, okay, it's not just me. You like Javelina, you went out hard, you led the race. Here you were in like a battle, it felt like, all day long. You were with Ida, then Keely bridged up to you. What was it like really duking it out with a couple other women for 9 hours?
Yeah, it was so amazing. I mean, honestly, like I've had a couple battles like that in triathlon, but not that many. And now I've been in 2 trail races and it's happened both. Like Casey at Javelina passed me in the chute like 16 hours in, and I'm like, a sprint finish at 100 miles. And then here it was literally like, it was crazy. So many people were so close all day at lead changes. And I really just had to like dig into my mental bank of like, it's not over till it's over, and that's what happens in Kona every year. You can literally come down to the final mile and people are walking. So like you have to race to the finish line. And I went down out there like 5 times, and I'm like, you know what? They could have fallen. They can fall in the final like quarter mile. They could trip on this uphill.
You watch people fall out there for sure. So
yeah. So I was like, I just had to just stay on it and like stay positive and try to push all the way in. But yeah, the Keely at the end was tough. Like, yeah, she went down, I went down, we were like together, everyone was, yeah.
Blows, you're just trading falls out there.
Yeah, exactly.
Something I love to see, and Corinne and I were chatting about this earlier, is like you race so differently than the way we enjoy racing. So
we race from the back.
Yeah.
And then we just like to hunt people all day long.
I know, but you do everything that I actually want to do in a race because I'm like, what could happen if I race that way? And it's really inspiring to see. Like this year, something I commented on the live stream was I felt like women weren't racing as conservatively, and they weren't necessarily like going for a time. They are racing other people. Yeah. And I'm really excited to hear Meghan's story about that too, because I felt like from the gun, everybody was racing each other, which is awesome to see. And just for your knowledge, we had 6 of the fastest top 10 times ever here. So 6 times today filled the top 10. So just like completely historic year at Black Canyon. And so there was stout competition out there, and you guys were racing them all day long.
Yeah, so I think moving from like the head-to-head battle that Heather had, Meg, you kind of were like this like silent assassin, just like moving up throughout the day. All of a sudden, we're like, oh, she's going to bridge. She's going to be in third here pretty quickly. You've also run a couple golden ticket races, and you've gone out, I think, aggressively and kind of come up shorter than your expectations. Like, what happened out there today, and like, what does it mean to like walk away with a golden ticket?
Yeah, it's just completely surreal. I still can't believe it. Yes, just like you said, the last 2 golden ticket races. Well, the first one I did, it was my first 100K. It was Bandera last year, and I had no idea what I was doing. I didn't have a coach at that point. I had no idea what to expect. And going into canyons, I did not respect that course, and I thought I could beat the course. I didn't go out as conservatively as I should have. Got passed by Leah at the 50K mark per usual, and I was like, she's executing this well, like this is how this should be done. And so kind of spent the last couple months really refining my race technique and being okay with chilling in the beginning and learning what that feels like to still be racing but taking it easy. And I definitely went out today faster than I originally had planned. Didn't really realize it until the 12-mile mark when a guy next to me was like, oh, you're in course record pace. And I just go, whoops.
A lot of you were, it turns out, yeah.
Yeah. So at that point, I chilled out. I let maybe 10 people pass me and focused on just like using those next 15 miles as rest and trying to kind of fix what I had almost messed up. And then after that started to feel really good. And I know myself, and I know if I can get to the 50K mark feeling good, then I can push a 50K. Like, that's not too bad. Yeah.
Oh man, that's cool to hear. That's a really mature decision too, because I think a lot of people get excited with the rhythm that they're in and like the anticipation of what's next, but being able to hold yourself back, knowing that it's going to serve you well later, I think is a great approach to 100 miles. So that's going to help at Western States.
Speaking of Western States, I think that's kind of the question. Like, when did you know? Like, when was the moment that you knew? Like, I think like I've got the ticket. Like, I'm going to walk away with this thing.
Yeah. So at Table Mesa, my crew told me, they were like, Heather has a ticket, so all you need to do is catch one of them. As long as it's not Heather.
Heather would not help in that case.
That was, I think, a really great time to get that information when, I have 10 miles left, so it's not, playing with my mental game the entire time, but I was like, okay, I can race the last 10 miles, see who I can pick up. I caught up to Ida at maybe mile 52 or 53, and at that point, I was like, okay, Megan, you have 9 miles to not mess up. Just be cool, just trudge up the uphills, race down the downhills, and try to just secure this spot and put as much of the gap on the folks behind you as you can. So that was a really wild feeling. I was going by Ida, and I was like, you're doing great, Ida. And in my head, I was like,
I think we've all been there. I definitely intentionally refused to pass Anna Frost at one of my first trail races. I was like, it's Anna Frost. I can't pass her. I love it.
Oh man. So both of you heading to Western States this year. What are you anticipating? What are you looking forward to? Heather, how do you feel about another 100 miles?
I know I honestly feel like today was harder than Javelina. I don't know if it was, again, the head-to-head racing and that pushes everyone. If it really was that much faster of a pace than the 100 miles, I think you settle in a little bit more, or just, the technical and downhill here was that much harder. So I'm kind of evaluating that, but I'm just, for me, Western States is obviously as a triathlete, I knew about that one. I watched it. I watched the coverage. I watched everything on it. I love following it. That was one of the first ones I started following. It was whoa, this is crazy that people do this. And so I'm just excited I get to be a part of it and experience it. And it's, going to be amazing no matter what happens out there.
Yeah, I'm definitely on the same page as Heather, just being a part of such a historic event. I'm so stoked for. I also have a couple of friends running it, and so when I knew that they got tickets, I was like, I want to go hang out with my friends. So that was a big motivator. Just really excited to meet a lot of people whose races I've been following for so long and be a part of something so amazing.
say too, you guys had two of the biggest fan clubs in the live stream chat today. Like huge Heather Jackson fan clubs, huge Meg Mo fan clubs. Like the people were out for you guys today. So
Darlings.
yes,
But for Meg and Heather. It was pretty great. Yeah, lots of HJ and Meg Mo in the chat.
yeah, so much. It was awesome to see.
So, Heather, we had you on the panel before the race. We got to chit chat a little bit, and we asked people like advice, kind of what they were telling themselves, or what they would tell anyone else going into it. I'm wondering, kind of like, you were like, I feel like I need advice from the audience on this one. Now reflecting, I mean, we're not that far past the finish line here. We're like literally feet away, but reflecting on kind of like what you knew going in and what you know now, like what do you think you're going to bring forward with you as you approach Western States in June?
Oh, yeah. I mean, it's so funny because I said the fueling tip at the panel, and I was like thinking about that all morning because it was cold, and I'm like, I need to fuel now. So I'm very like proud of staying on my fueling. So that was really great out there. But the technical like downhill running is insane. Like, well, I was behind Ida for a bit, and I was just watching her in awe, and then she would pull away and be gone, and I'm like, that is like just her footing and balance, and I thought I was like, okay. I mean, I don't know. And then I was out there today just watching others, and I'm like, that is like, I've been downhill running. I've been running hard downhills, but they're like roads. And that is not comparable. So,
Yeah, tenderizes the quads, but it's a little, you'll get plenty of it for Western States.
So, yeah, I know I have trails in Tucson where we are right now, and I'm like, oh, I need to run fast down those and not fall, basically.
Yeah,
so
100%.
that would probably be my biggest takeaway from today.
Yeah, we did not have the joy of having you on the panel, but that will obviously be rectified for next time. But, kind of same thing. Was there anything that you had in mind going into this? Obviously, it was patience in the beginning, kind of resetting. Was there anything else that you really took away from that experience of like, okay, this went well, this didn't go well, this is what I'm going to tweak as I move towards Western States?
Yeah, something big for me that I've struggled with is fueling and finding a system that works for me. I have a pretty sensitive stomach, so figuring out the right combination of things to eat the day before, the morning of, and during the race, and just making sure I fuel enough. I definitely underfueled in past races, and I haven't really seen super negative effects from it, but I was like, I think I can do better. So that was a big focus for me. I've been trying out a new breakfast, which this is going to sound really weird, but it's rice with maple syrup.
Oh, love it. Sold.
And
sign me up.
it was incredible. It sat so nicely in my stomach. So this is the first race I've started where I actually felt really good at the start and made sure I was getting in my gels every half hour, really staying on top of my electrolytes to try to fight off the dehydration. And it worked really well. My stomach felt awesome. Only got a little twitchy in the race, which is great. So that was a really big one for me.
Yeah, I bumped into Riley Brady out here today, who was crewing you, and they were saying that you were potentially going to use a pacer, but you didn't. How did that work later on in the race? And yeah, did you prefer that? Were you on this like personal vision quest, and how were you thinking?
Yeah, I was a little undecided about a pacer coming into the race. I definitely think it's an asset if I'm struggling mentally. But I have found with using a pacer in the past, I talk to them too much and I get too excited to see them because I just love hanging out with my friends. And without a pacer, I've been able to really dial it in mentally, and I didn't want to take away that focus. So I was like, okay, it would be nice to have a buddy going into this next stretch, but I really want to make sure I'm focused. And something that I feel like I'm good at is running down technical downhills, and I hadn't done that with the person who was going to pace me, so I didn't know how that would play out. But really, it was mainly I wanted to make sure I stayed in that dialed-in mindset.
I think one of my final questions, and then Leah can pepper you with whatever she wants, is I feel like with these races, or even like long runs, I'll like start to crave something specific. It could be food. It could be like, I don't know, taking a shower. Like, what are you each looking forward to the most when we finally like release you from being held captive here at the finish line?
I don't even know. I feel like I never get hungry. I'm just like off for a while. So I think in like 3 or 4 hours, we're van camping at Black Canyon. So yeah, at the van, I'll probably find something. Peanut butter pretzels, maybe.
So I have a pint of dairy-free Ben & Jerry's in the freezer right now.
Heck yeah.
And I am vegan, but I love fried chicken after a race, so I am going to B-dubs.
I had chicken tendies last night. It was delicious.
Very excited.
Yeah, I don't think I have any final questions for you guys. Just like absolutely incredible performances out there today. Both inspiring to watch, both very different races, but like came together beautifully at the end. And you guys both ran like complete veterans out there, which I think is incredible considering your pretty short time in the sport, and Heather, your short time in trail racing in general. So just absolutely incredible and super inspired by both of you.
Yeah. Congratulations to you
Thanks,
both.
you guys.
Here's to seeing all three of you. I'll get to be behind the camera. You guys will be in front of the camera at Western States in June.